Listen, it wasn't great. There's no getting around that. But I think Gareth, he's had to kind of forget about this Nations League, and he's had to kind of experiment for the World Cup coming up. His two left-backs aren't playing it for their club, so he's had to think of another solution. He's put Saka left wing back to see if maybe he can give him a solution moving forward. He tried one or two things, but listen, there's no getting away from the fact that it definitely wasn't good enough, and we're going to need to improve drastically if we're going to go to Qatar and really threaten the big teams.
The Saka thing, I'm going to push you on that one as well at left wing back. I understand, like, if you're saying that you haven't got any other options, but Chilwell has played some time this season. It's not as if he's injured, he's available. I don't understand necessarily the Saka thing, but also there were a few other things in that game where as an England fan, you just felt frustrated looking at it, thinking, why is it that we look so much more cautious and short of, not confidence, but short of creativity perhaps?
I agree with your second point, but your first point, I think England fans need to make up their minds. Harry Maguire shouldn't be playing because he's out of form, he's lacking playing time. But then on the other hand, they're saying Chilwell should be playing, even though he's not playing week in, week out for his club. So I think England fans are a bit hypocritical at the moment, and I don't understand why. Listen, you look at the front three and you look at Saka, who's playing left wing back. He was more left winger and Declan Rice was covering over, but you look at that front three, front four, add Bellingham to that front five. Listen, there's no doubt we should be creating more. We should have been having more shots on goal and threatening that Italy goal a lot more than we did.
Okay, let's go for the Harry Maguire thing, because I think that is a valid point, and fair enough if you want to say perhaps Ben Chilwell's not ready to go in and play for his country. I don't know. I think if you're having Harry Maguire in there, you're having Ben Chilwell in there as well.
I don't think that Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw are not ready. I just think that Gareth Southgate may be thinking ahead. Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw may not have game time heading into the World Cup, so he's thinking, right, if the worst case happens and they continue not to play heading into November, who's my backup? Who's my option? Whereas he knows at the centre-back position, if Harry Maguire's not playing, if he's injured, if he's this, if he's that, he's got centre-backs, he's got Tomori, he's got Stones coming back in, but at left-back, he hasn't really got options beyond Luke Shaw and Ben Chilwell. So he's thinking, right, let me try Saka here. It's effectively a warm-up friendly, and let's see if he can be an option moving forward into the tournament.
That's where my biggest gripe would be, guys. The fact that you've correctly said it is for England, it's a kind of warm-up game for which is the World Cup. So why would you not give Tammy Abraham or Ivan Toney a run? That's my biggest gripe. You know, I look at the England team right now, there, Andros, and I think that England team, you know, you can argue about Maguire, you can argue about Saka on the left-hand side, but certainly 8 or 9 of those players would be, I think, probably in his starting lineup. You know, you can take the goal out of the equation. But my point is, that England team, looking at it, should be doing better.
Yeah.
But the main gripe, as I said, I have, and particularly in a warm-up game, I know what Harry Kane can do. I know exactly what Harry Kane can do. I'm not sure what Ivan Toney can do. I'm not really sure what Tammy Abraham can do.
I think watching those games in the summer, we had 4 games in the space of 2 weeks. After a long, hard season, I think that was Gareth Southgate's time to try new players and rotate and see who can offer something moving forward. I think these games, he's got 2 games now before the World Cup. Listen, it's clear to see that his front three, Harry Kane, Phil Foden and Raheem Sterling, weren't clicking, weren't connecting well, weren't integrating well. So I think he needed to use these games to kind of get the understanding better. No, it didn't work. Hands up, it didn't work. But if I'm the manager, I'd give them another run out again tonight and see if they can get that cohesion, see if they can start interacting more 1-2s, more around the corners, more runs off Harry Kane, and see if we can get that going before the World Cup. I don't think now's the time to be experimenting and giving players opportunities.
Andros, away from selection and things like that, you know, we were just talking about the headlines that people were saying, I'll get the boot if we flop. If we fail in Qatar, you know, those kind of words, flop, fail, all that sort of stuff. What would failure be in your eyes for this England team? Genuinely, that's not a trick question, but it's just, you know, me and Ali were trying to analyse it earlier on. Is it making a final? Is it winning? Is it actually just performing well but getting knocked out by a better team? What is it?
I think your last point is true. Like, unfortunately, you could draw France in a quarter final, in a second round, in the semi final, and get knocked out and it be a failure. I think England, for what they've done the last two tournaments, what Gareth has brought this nation to, semi final has to be a minimum. But then, if you go back to 2016 and we got knocked out to Iceland in the Euros in the second round, you'd have taken a semi final in World Cup and a final in the last Euro. So it's all opinion. It's all a matter of opinion. Everyone's having their opinion. But for me, failure or not, second round knockout or not, final, win the tournament, Gareth Southgate should be this England manager moving forward beyond Qatar.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods, Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.